Hey everyone, it's Dr. Chaffee here, just doing a catch-up video for some of the super chats I got on my YouTube live on May 8th in America, May 7th in the US. And so it's just a few of them, there's about 9. So I wanted to go through those just to make sure we got them because generally don't have enough time when going to in the next live. So first question, super chat was from Akil Remy. Thank you, Akil, for the super chat. He says, "Hello, doctor. Thank you very much for everything you do. I was wondering if there is some evidence, even anecdotal, about carnivore helping the spine to heal, bulging disc, touching nerves, etc. Thank you." So there are people that have been helping their bulging discs and healing from those sorts of things. Is that from the carnivore diet, or is that because it's just sort of the natural history of these sorts of things? They can heal on their own. It's hard to say, but some people that I've spoken to and even had on the podcast, they've had multiple layers of bulging discs that have actually been there for years and then did resolve or at least significantly improved on a carnivore diet. And so that is something that some people have seen, and a lot of people's back pain gets better and other sorts of things as well. If it's discs you're talking about, I have seen that. It is anecdotal. I don't know of studies specifically in disc arthritis or disc pathologies or facet joint arthropathies, but I do know from talking to Dr. Gary Fettke, an orthopedic surgeon, that there are studies looking at osteoarthritis of the knees and other joints that they found that they were due to glycation, or a lot of the damage could be due to glycation. Obviously, you can get physical damage. You can get sort of an injury, a direct injury, like a clash of and a smack, like my patellar my patella, the kneecaps. I did a lot of kickboxing, Muay Thai kickboxing, a lot of knee strikes, hitting my knee onto a hard surface, and that's sort of clacking the cartilage onto itself, and it can cause little damages and micro tears, and that can get worse and worse and worse as you go. So I damaged my cartilage in my knee cap that way when I was, a teenager. So that was dumb, and I have no other cartilage issues in my entire body. But people that have like more widespread degenerative changes, they found that this can be from glycation, from high blood sugar. And so getting away from that is, going to hopefully help your cartilage heal. I don't know of any studies showing that with discs, but I don't think anybody's ever looked either. So that's potentially something that could heal on its own. But at this stage, it is anecdotal. But either way, it's still worth doing because there's a lot of other reasons why this would be benefiting to your body and could very well help with that. And if it does, it's a bonus. Another question from Jim Skelton. Thank you very much for the super chat, Jim. Last year at 49 years old, had 2 strokes, now on warfarin, which is a blood thinner, because hematologist diagnosed lupus anticoagulant as the root cause. 1 week into strict carnivore. Is it safe on warfarin and Coumadin? Yes, it's absolutely safe on blood thinners. It's safe on those sort of medications. Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully this will put your lupus into remission, and hopefully you won't have that clotting disorder, and you can hopefully come off your warfarin. With any sort of change in diet, you just need to be on top of your INR. Warfarin is very temperamental to the different things that you're eating, and there's different amounts of vitamin K, specifically K1, in different foods, and that is a precursor to your clotting factors, and that's what warfarin acts upon to stop it from turning into your clotting factors, and that's how it is an anticoagulant. So whenever you change your diet, and if you eat different things every day, your INR could become very labile. And so this is actually really good for you on warfarin, because your INR is going to be much more stable. And so once you get onto a stable dose, you should be able to just consistently stay there. So that's good. But do make sure that you work with your doctor to check your INR and make sure that it's in the right range, because that can be quite quite a problem if it gets too high or even too low, because then it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So yeah, good luck with that. But no, it should actually help, if anything, because it can help treat the underlying cause of lupus. It can also stabilize your INR and just make you feel a lot better in a lot of ways as well. Not only feel better, but be better and be healthier. So good luck with that. Hopefully you don't have to be on that forever. Next question is from Sherry Morgan. Thank you, Sherry, for the super chat. When using Carnivore for bulimia, do you suggest go slow or all in? Thank you. Certainly depends on the individual. So that's for bulimia or anybody else. So for if someone feels that that's something that will work for them and they're happy to just to hop into it, then they can just go straight into it. If they're a bit more hesitant and want to ease into it, then that's completely fine as well. If some I sometimes if they feel like, yes, this is the right thing for me, I want to just go in and try it. Sometimes it's best to strike while the iron's hot and just get on top of it while they're excited and motivated. And there's a lot to be said for that. And the good thing about carnivore and eating disorders is that, once you understand the principles, you understand that this is not going to make you unhealthy. This is not going to make you fat and overweight. This is actually going to help you heal and get better and be lean, strong, and healthy. And you're not going to feel stuffed and uh, you know upset with yourself for eating something. You're just eating real food, and it feels nice, and you're not overstuffed because you're not overeating, and because your body's telling you when to stop, and it makes you feel good, and it's not making you feel nasty and bad and all these other sorts of things like some food can. So hopefully it does help, but really just it depends on the individual. If this is something that you or your loved one who has bulimia is thinking like, well, yeah, this is it. I just want to do this. I don't want to eat any of that other stuff anyway, and I do want to eat this, then just hop right into it. If you need to go a little more slowly, then that's perfectly fine too. If you do want to go a bit more slowly, it's usually best to have a game plan and track exactly like, okay, I'm gonna drop carbs and grains and seeds and beans and legumes on this day, day one. The next week on this day, you mark it on the calendar, I'm gonna drop high oxalate foods. And the next week, you're gonna drop nightshades, potatoes, tomatoes, eggplants, peppers, those sorts of things. And then the next week you're gonna drop, you know, greens. And the next week after, you say, oh, I'm just gonna be meat and water, and that's it. And so you have a game plan on when you're gonna cut things off and when you're gonna go completely pure as well, and that makes it a lot better, because otherwise you're just sort of dancing around it and you don't actually end up ever doing it. So obviously that's not what you want. So yeah, good luck with that. All right, and next question is from Tyler, a wise guy. Thank you, Tyler, for the super chat. Hi there. How much beef should I eat each day to gain muscle? I've been on carnivore for 73 days. I'm 6'1", was 230 pounds, and now I'm down to 180. Well, first of all, congratulations. That's very significant weight loss and a very dramatic uh, change. 50 pounds is fantastic results in just over 2 months. So that's fantastic. If you want to put on muscle, you need to work out. You need to lift weights. You need to do sprints. You need to challenge yourself. You need to work to muscle fatigue. You don't just work until it's like, oh, it sort of feels tough and now I'm kind of tired. You go until you absolutely can't go anymore. That's how you get real results. When you stop, if you do 10 reps, but you could do 12, you will get less than half of the benefit from doing that than if you just squeezed out an extra two. Is it exactly half? Who knows? But I've definitely noticed a big difference in my own gains, in my own performance, and then working out with other people that I worked out with, and they would do basically the same as me, except that they wouldn't do those last two that really sucked. And I got much better results than they did. Some of these guys didn't even look like they really worked out, and they were like, "Oh yeah, working out 4 or 5 days a week. I'm always just in the gym." I'm like, "Really? Are you? Like this doesn't it really doesn't look like it." And then I saw them in the gym, and I realized, why that was. It didn't look like they were in the gym because they weren't pushing themselves maximally. So that's really what you want to do. And then you just need to eat enough to match your body's demand. And so you need to eat fatty meat until it stops tasting good. You need to do that at least twice a day. And if you're able to do that, you will put on muscle more easily than you ever have in your entire life. And so you want to, it's going to be different for everybody, but you just need to just keep eating until you get a bite that just tastes like cardboard, and then you're done. But because you're working out a lot and your body's going to be wanting to put on mass, you're probably going to need to do that at least twice a day. If it's 3 times a day, it's 3 times a day. Just listen to your body and get enough food and work out hard to stimulate your muscle, and you'll do great. You'll put on a lot of muscle. And then next question is from Amber. Thank you very much, Amber, for the super chat. Hi, Carnivore 11 days in. That's great. Good job. Beef, eggs, salting to taste, small bits of dairy, started getting shortness of breath and heartburn. What might cause that? Well, the shortness of breath is a little odd. It may be that you're coming down with something. You might have a bit of a chest cold or something like that. It could also be that you're reacting to the dairy. Some people do get a bit, wheezy and tight-chested or a bit sinusy when they are getting using dairy, and potentially heartburn as well. Generally, people don't get heartburn from beef. Potentially eggs. Sometimes people do react negatively to eggs as well. So maybe just try cutting those things out. Just go beef and water for a while and see if that helps. You can also get a food diary and a symptom diary where you write down exactly what you ate and how you felt that day. If you started getting negative symptoms, you write down the time and what you felt, and then you have the times and the portions and things that you ate, and you can see if there's some sort of connection there. And if there isn't, that's even better information, because like, okay, it has nothing to do with my food. There's something else going on, and then you look for those other reasons as well. Sometimes when people get heartburn, usually going carnivore actually helps heartburn. But sometimes little things like eggs or dairy can trip that up too. It's usually temporary, but if those things are making you react funny, then just cut them out and just stick with beef and see how you go. And then, in odd situations, sometimes it's the beef, you switch to lamb and see how that goes for you. Sometimes people, when they have beef that's been hung for a number of weeks before it's been, cut up, that can cause a problem, or people that are eating leftovers or dry aging or those sorts of things. Occasionally they'll have a bit of problem with that as well. So just see how you go and see if you can have a food diary, cut everything out except the beef and water, and see if it's still there, and see if it's associated with the beef, and then try to switch to lamb or something like that, and just try different meats to see if that can't help your symptoms, and hopefully they do go away. Shortness of breath, do remember that could be something else besides their meat. It could be like a chest infection or an allergy or something like that as well. We'll still get these same sorts of things. It just will be much more healthy while we do it. So keep that in mind, and good luck. Cheyenne Syverson, thank you very much for the super chat. I've had pericarditis for over 4 years, and I live with daily pain and discomfort. I'm very sorry to hear that. I haven't tried carnivore diet yet. Do you think this approach would heal it? It's very hard to tell. You've had a chronic condition for a long time. There's a lot of inflammation there. There's a lot of damage there. It depends on what's causing the pericarditis as well. I do know that it helps reduce inflammation significantly and can help the heart work better, because the heart primarily and preferentially runs on ketones. Sometimes when people have had COVID and things like that, it can actually damage the heart muscle, and so the cardiomyocytes aren't actually able to run on ketones, and that's a sign that there's been some serious metabolic harm done to the heart. But typically, the heart prefers to run on ketones and works much better. And either way, even if the heart can't run on ketones, ketones themselves reduce inflammation. So that's really helpful as well in pericarditis. So you're removing a lot of things that are going to be exacerbating your inflammation, and you're also going to be increasing your ketones, which will in and of itself reduce your inflammation as well. So that could definitely help. It does depend on what's causing it. I do know people that have had things like long COVID and pericarditis from that, who have been helped by this. Um, and typically they do best not just on keto, but on strict carnivore. And but at the same time, you can have damage to the heart, and you can have other things going on that, unfortunately, even being on a biologically appropriate diet, your body's still going to have to work through, and you can still have other things go wrong with your body. But this at least puts you in the best position to heal. It puts you in a very good spot to help other sorts of health issues and keep you healthy and strong, so you can deal with this in a better way. And again, reduce inflammation and improve your own immune system so that hopefully your body can clear this naturally. But it's hard to say. I can't say anything for sure on this one. If it's an autoimmune condition, I'd say yes, absolutely, it's going to help, especially if you do a lion diet. But there are other things that can damage our body that are outside of food. The food just puts us into the best position possible to heal and weather these sorts of things. So, and I hope that's what happens for you. So good luck with that. Hey everyone, really happy to announce a new sponsor for the show and for everybody down in Australia, Stockman Steaks, who are delivering high quality grass-fed and finished pasture-raised beef and other meats, flash frozen and vacuum sealed to your door, something that I've been enjoying a lot of myself recently as well. They also have a great range of specialty items such as high-fat keto mince and carnivore beef and organs mince with liver, kidneys, and beef heart as well. So use code Chaffee today for a free order of beef mince or another specialty gift along with your order at stockmansteaks.com.au, and I'll see you over there. Thanks, guys. Next question is from Pia. Thank you very much for the super chat, Pia. Hi, I have some tooth sensitivity and pain. Dentist yesterday gave me antibiotics in case of infection, but says they look fine. Beside myself, 40 days carnivore. Can you look into this, please? Um, well, it's a good question. I think we had another question earlier. Someone said they had some cold sensitivity on carnivore. I didn't know anything that I could think of from going carnivore that would cause that. This is the sort of second time in one day, but the second time ever that someone had mentioned that. My initial instinct is that this is probably coincidental, that this is something else going on, which we can have. I mean, people, have, cracked teeth. My mom used to chew on ice when she was a little girl. And so, and then she had little cracks in their teeth. And when she was an adult, she had more pain, and then they would break, and she'd have to get crowns and things like that. And so that's something that can just show up sort of at any time. And so potentially that could come. Um, Now, and then if you're having pain when you're chewing or biting, dentists might get X-rays and things like that to see if there's a little crack somewhere, and see if they can fix that. But I don't think there's anything in carnivore that should cause sensitivity and tooth pain, unless you're sort of eating other things that are causing an issue. Um, Yeah, sorry, I don't have a better answer than that, but I just haven't really seen this be a problem in people going carnivore, and I can't really think why it would be. When you just stop eating things that are harmful to you, and it should help these things. Most people like improve their gum disease and oral health and oral biome and things like that. They don't get cavities anymore. They don't have inflammation in their gums, and generally feel a lot better. So hopefully this is just something else that will just sort of calm down. But if it is something, if it's sort of persistent, just keep following up with your dentist, and see, ask them to investigate and see if there's something else going on, like a crack, or like sort of very subtle sort of crack that might be getting worse. And good luck with that. That sucks. Teeth pain sucks. So sorry to hear that. Michael Kuhn, Kuehn, thank you very much for the super chat. Michael says, "Hey doc, 120 days carnivore, and now A1C is down from 12.6 to 9.1 on the last panel. That's fantastic. That's really, really huge improvement. So, and that just has never happened before people started going carnivore and keto. So, it's it's just amazing, that it's literally reversing a disease that 2 years ago people would say that's impossible. You can't reverse this disease. Even now, people are still saying that, and just kidding themselves, really, but because it's every single time. So fantastic, really great job. He goes on to say, having a little left-sided mid-back pain near the kidney. Panel showed blood in the urine and creatinine, blood urea and creatinine up from normal thoughts. If your creatinine is up, then you need to drink water. Eating more meat, eating more protein is not going to hurt the kidneys. It is actually going to help the kidneys. That's what the studies show. So it's just complete supposition that if you eat more protein, this is going to cause kidney damage. Well, you get protein in the urine, that's a sign of kidney damage. Therefore, eating protein causes kidney damage. Like, no, that's just damage to the basement membrane, and you lose a polarity. And so now these charged particles can get through, and these larger particles can get through, and that's why you have protein in urine. It's a symptom of kidney damage. It's not the cause of kidney damage. And also, urea going up could go up if your kidneys are slowing down, but that's not the cause of it, right? If you're eating more protein, you may turn some of that protein into energy, and a byproduct of that will be to make more urea. If that happens, then you just eat more fat, but generally that happens independent of your creatinine. So your creatinine will stay down and your urea will sort of go up, and that's your kidneys are fine. So if your creatinine is going up, it's not because you're eating more protein. It's because you're almost always not drinking enough water. It could be something else going on, but it wouldn't be from eating meat. It wouldn't be from eating more protein, but it can absolutely be from not drinking enough water. So I would drink enough water. Whatever you're drinking, I would drink more, and see how you go. Um, you can also get other things like oxalate dumping and things like that. You can sort of damage the kidney that way. You need to drink a lot more water that way too, so you can flush this garbage out, and so it doesn't kick up into like a kidney stone or something like that can slow down your kidney function and also cause other problems of its own. So good luck with that. I would just start by drinking a lot more water. Carnivore diet will not damage your kidneys. In fact, they improve your kidneys. Major way they improve kidneys is just by reversing diabetes, which causes microvascular damage and damage to the basement membrane and all sorts of other damage, harmful things. And also, you remove out a lot of nephrotoxic plant toxins like oxalates and others that then improve your kidneys. And just eating more protein, eating more good nutrition, your body's going to be able to heal and repair your kidney a lot better too. So that should happen. Drink more water. Hey guys, just want to take a second to thank our sponsor, Carnivore Bar. I don't promote many products because honestly, all you need to be healthy is to just eat meat. For those times that you're out hiking, road tripping, or stuck at work and you want a nutritious snack that is just meat, fat, and salt if you want it, the Carnivore Bar is a great option. So I like this product not because it's just pure meat, but also because I want the carnivore market to thrive as well. And the more we support meat-only products, the more meat-only products there will be available in the mainstream. So if this sounds like something you'd like to get behind, check it out using my discount code Anthony to get 10% off, which also applies to subscriptions, giving you 25% off total. All right, thanks guys. Grace Home Kitchen, thank you very much for the super chat. Hi, I'm a 41-year-old female living with PAH and arthritis. 6 weeks on carnivore. Lost 6 kgs, which is absolutely fantastic. Very well done. And pain almost gone. I just want to know, can carnivore diet reverse my PAH? So, well, first of all, I just want to say, it's only been 6 weeks. You've already lost 6 kilos. Your pain has significantly improved from your arthritis. That's an amazing improvement already. It's only been 6 weeks. The issue with PAH, and again, I say this before other times, but there are a lot of acronyms out there. So I am going to assume you mean one of the more common ones, which is pulmonary hypertension, pulmonary arterial hypertension. And that's at least the only one I can think of right now with that acronym. So I don't know is the short answer. It's not something that I've seen too much of. It's not a disease that I treat. It's not an issue that I treat. I haven't come across too many people that have reported back. So, if I had, it would be very anecdotal. I haven't seen studies on ketogenic diets and PAH. They could be there. There are literally thousands of these things. So I've seen dozens and dozens. I haven't seen thousands. I haven't looked at all the thousands that are out there. But you can check this out. And if people have a condition that you're living with, you want to say, okay, can a carnivore diet help me? Well, there may not be one on a carnivore diet, but a carnivore diet is a high-fat, animal-based ketogenic diet. And the ketogenic diets in the literature are high-fat, meat-based ketogenic diets. They're just cutting out carbohydrates. And what do you replace that with? Fat, protein. But they replace that with fat and protein from meat. They don't replace that with fat and protein from plants because it's a very poor source of fat and protein, and it's nutritionally deficient in many ways and significantly inferior in even more ways. So they don't. So these thousands of studies that do ketogenic diets are all animal-based diets. They're all meat-based diets. And that's probably why the powers that be are trying to trash it, because they want us to think that meat is harmful, even though it doesn't harm any other animal on Earth, carnivores or herbivores. Herbivores routinely will eat smaller animals opportunistically. I've seen elk and deer eat ducklings and little chickens and even rabbits, like full-grown rabbits. That was a weird one. But because they don't have the right teeth, so they're just chewing this in a very strange way. And but they do. This doesn't hurt them, right? It doesn't hurt us either. Why would we be the only creature on Earth that gets hurt from eating our natural evolved diet? And meat doesn't have any toxins in it. It's not toxic to any form of life. They can have a poison sac. That's different. The meat itself is not poisonous to anything. Anything I know of anyway. I couldn't imagine anything doing it because herbivores eat this stuff too, opportunistically. So either way, you can look up ketogenic, like go on, PubMed or Google Scholar or something like that, something you have access to, and just look up PAH or pulmonary arterial hypertension and ketogenic diet, and see if anything's come up. See if someone has studied it. May have. I mean, literally, there's thousands of these things. You can also look at fasting mimicking diets and whatever disease or disorder that you come up with, because that's a way of hiding the word ketogenic, because that's a bit of a four-letter word in some academic circles. And so, they say it's like, well, we know fasting is really good and helpful in these conditions, but that's really hard to fast for this period of time. And so, well, what about a diet that mimics fasting, right? And gets you in the same metabolic state as when you're fasting, aka a ketogenic diet. So a carnivore diet is a ketogenic diet. So anything that applies to those, like those benefits you get from ketogenic diets, from animal-based, meat-based ketogenic diets, are going to apply to a carnivore diet. And then some, because you're cutting out more than just the carbs. You're cutting out more than just carbs and going into that metabolic state. You're also cutting out all the plant toxins that are coming with that. And there's plenty of books on this. Look up, Dr. Gundry's, The Plant Paradox. Look up Most Delicious Poisons. It's written by a professor of biology at UC Berkeley, an evolutionary biologist and professor of biology there. And any textbook on botany. I mean, they all cover this stuff. Plants are toxic. That's how they survive. They're not duking it out with people, not running away, fighting back, scratching people and clawing them and attacking and all these other sorts of things. They're just sitting there. They're sitting ducks. They're not even trying to run away. They're not even trying to hide. Idiots, you know? So how the hell do they defend themselves? Why are they still there? Why do they exist as a form of life? Because they actually have really robust defenses, and they are chemical in nature. The vast majority are chemical in nature. They are toxic by design. And so you get rid of these things, you're going to get rid of these toxins. So that's what I would do. I would look up for that. Unfortunately, I don't know if there is literature on PAH and ketogenic diets that could be extrapolated to people on a carnivore diet. But I do know that you're going to be helped in a number of other ways, just like the previous question, that there are so many good reasons for going on a carnivore diet, and hopefully it helps your issue. But even if it doesn't, it's going to improve your life in 1,000 different ways. and it's going to be more than worth it. It can certainly make your life a lot easier and a lot better, and better able to deal with your PAH as a result of that, and just be healthier overall, and just be as healthy as you possibly can be in the body that you have. And hopefully it gets better. But again, there are things in this world that can harm us that are outside of our diet. And a lot of things are from our diet. A lot, I would say like 90% of the diseases that we're treating now, the issues that we're treating now as doctors, come from the eating an inappropriate diet, a biologically inappropriate diet, easily 90%. But that leaves 10% that's not from that. But you can be as healthy as you possibly can be, and you're going to be better able to weather and heal from those other 10% of things. So that's what I would suggest, is just doing it anyway and seeing how you go. And you can check and see on Google Scholar or PubMed and see if there's anything on ketogenic diets or fasting mimicking diets. And anybody else who has an issue that they're concerned about, do that same search. More often than not, you'll find something very promising, and it can most likely help you. And there's just more and more data coming out every single day. And so it's a very exciting time, because we're actually healing people. It's almost as if you know, the system is working in a way that people are actually trying to help each other and figure out the root causes of disease. Um, these diseases just never existed before, and now they're just the only things we treat. So what happened? Something in our environment. So you identify what happened in our environment. It wasn't meat. We've always been eating meat. So that wasn't it. So it's something new, right? Like processed food, seed oils, refined sugars, refined carbs, this crazy plant-based push that everyone's been trying to shove down our throats for the last 60 years, actually really 150 years, if you want to go back far enough. So that's what's new. Meat's not new. So just eat to your biological design, and you'll be as healthy as you're biologically designed to be. And that's pretty damn healthy. All life on Earth is extraordinarily healthy. The natural state of all life, from single-celled animals, to humans and everything in between, trees, plants, fungus, everything. They're all healthy. The natural state is to be healthy. So why are we sick? Why are 90% of Americans, unwell? Why do they have at least one metabolic disease? Why are 70% of people in Western countries overweight or obese? Why is that? That's not normal. That's not natural. That's not supposed to happen. So something's happening in our environment. We're doing this to ourselves, and it's not meat. We've always been eating meat. That's established. We already know that's safe, right? They have to prove that eating this other crap is better than eating meat, or at least, or even safe at all. They have not done that. They've started at that as a position of, yeah, fruits and vegetables are really good, and then meat is bad, saturated fat, cholesterol, ooh, that causes disease. Therefore, anything without saturated fat and cholesterol is de facto good for you. That was the whole argument. And so we're starting from the point of, well, hold on, everyone knows plants. You have to prove that meat's good. You have to prove that we don't eat that. Bullshit. Meat was established. That was just usurped, and they just sort of did a little coup and got meat kicked out of there. But that was the established reigning champ. No one ever proved that plants were good for you. They just said that saturated fat and cholesterol were bad for you. So things without saturated fat and cholesterol de facto became good for you, because the only thing that was bad was saturated fat and cholesterol. And therefore, anything without saturated fat and cholesterol automatically became good for you. Uh, that's not how that game works. But they snuck it through. Good job, them. Gotta give credit where credit's due. They were sneaky little bastards, and they shoveled something through that should never have gotten through. And they, more power to them. But now we've recognized what happened. We see the game, and we just plug up that hole and say, no, that's bullshit. Meat is established. We've always eaten meat. That is what's healthy. That's the baseline. You have to prove that something else is better, not the other way around. So just go back to baseline. Eat what we've been eating for millions of years. Eat what's biologically appropriate for our diet or for our species, and you will be as healthy as you can be. And hopefully that helps your PAH. And if not, it'll still make you a lot healthier, and you'll feel a lot better having to deal with the PAH. And so at least that's something anyway. All right. Thank you, everyone. I hope that was helpful. I hope that was useful for people. And I will see you on the next live event. And I will see those in London in the weekend of the 18th in May, and then people in Austin for the Hack Your Health conference at the end of May, and then in Switzerland, St. Moritz in early June. That one's going to be awesome. Really looking forward to that. And then in August, I'll be in San Diego for the Summit for Metabolic Health. I'll be speaking there again this year. Last year, I gave a talk on cancer and ketogenic metabolic therapy as a novel adjunct for treating cancer. And then I'll be in Wyoming for the beef roundup in Riverton, Wyoming, which is now being dubbed the most carnivore friendly city on earth. And that'll be great because that's just a gorgeous part of the country, a gorgeous part of the world. And so if people are there and want to go and wrestle a bear, I don't recommend that, but they have them there, and best to be looked at through the window anyway. But gorgeous country, and it'll be a lot of fun with a lot of great people. Anyway, that's my rundown, and hopefully see you guys at the next live event, and hopefully see a lot of you at the conferences, because that's always fun to see everybody and get to hang out and talk in person. All right, everyone, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.